It's time for the Chips and Salsa Show.
The only show about Latinos for Latinos. And did we mention Latinos?
It's the Latísima.
Latinos come in all flavors, shapes, and sizes. You don't have to be Latino to enjoy chips and salsa.
Everybody loves chips and salsa.
Welcome to your Chips and Salsa Show. This is Don Jorge, El Alacran. To all the chipsters out there, I'm back. We're back. I've been sidelined a couple of weeks, but we're back this week. Next week, we'll have another guest next week. Today, we have Diana Jones. She's running for House of Representatives, LD 22, and I'll introduce her in a minute. With me today, co-hosting, is my good friend, Cid de la Puente, and he's honoring us today.
Good. Yeah.
And we have let's see, a few things going on. Alice and Zeke are not going to be with us on Zoom, so they had other engagements to do today. Alice had some personal business, and Zeke is out of town, so we're going to try to cover everything Phoenix today. A lot of things are going on in New Mexico. We'll bring that up next week because I'm pretty sure she'll be on the show next week. Continue to watch our Rumble, our shows on Rumble and YouTube from New Mexico and from Phoenix. We're really starting to ramp that up. We'll be on Spotify soon, and we're on YouTube.
Podcast.
And you'll watch our podcast. With us today, we have our producer, Eric Williamson. He's award-winning or nominated to win an award for podcasting, and he's our producer, and he more or less directs the show. So we're going to get right into it. I have Diana Jones. She's with LD 22. In our district, she's our secretary-treasurer, and she's going to be running for the House of Representatives, the State House of Representatives here in LD 22, or in LD 22, because we're out of Tempe now on our show now. So, and Sid, you want to talk about a little about yourself before I introduce?
Okay. What's there to introduce? Not too
Well,
much.
you're with Carlo.
Yeah. Well, I'm with Carlo, Conservative American Latino Organization, and I am the /president, member, however you want to put it, the all-in-one. I'm also president of the Southwest chapter of Maricopa, ASRA, Arizona Republican Assembly.
Okay.
So, yeah, glad to be with and
we have We have a friend of yours showing up next week, hopefully, as Michael
Carbone.
Carbone, and a lot of people know him out there. So he's with the House of Representatives now, and he's running again. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce Diana Jones. Could you give our listeners a little bit of bio about yourself, offices you've held? And
Oh, I've had a very my husband retired out of active duty Air Force in 91, and we were married 45 and a half years and just got to see all kinds of places because I was the first female loadmaster on the C-5 airplane in the Air Force.
wow. And so you're running for the House of Representatives. You ran last year.
I ran last year on the slate to be secretary for the MCRC.
Okay. I thought you had ran for the House also, or you didn't?
No.
Okay, so this is the first time you're running for the House?
Yeah.
Okay, and what are your aspirations, or what do you want to do as a House member should you get elected to be a House represent LD 22?
Well, definitely want to get our border closed. There's too many holes. It's like a sieve.
Oh, yeah.
And then we need to get elections back on the proper track. the Constitution of the United States says that it is the state legislature that tells how the elections should be run. So that doesn't mean the Secretary of State. It doesn't mean the County Board of Supervisors. It's the legislature. And the Constitution also says that it is supposed to be on the first Tuesday after the first Monday of November, which in my mind means one day. And I remember growing up and watching my parents. My dad got a half day off work. They went down, they voted, did their thing, and then he went to work for half a day.
So, on the House of Representatives, they have a lot of bills that come up. But right now, because I'm an LD 22 also, we have two Republican House of Representative members. They're both liberal Democrats, right?
Right.
And we have one state representative, Senate representative, and that's he's also a Democrat.
Yes.
Do we have another Republican running with you since we have two openings?
Yes. His name is B.J. Griffin.
B.J.
He's
Griffin.
already he filed his paperwork this last week, so he will be running with us, and we're both running Clean Elections.
Clean elections. And that they can donate money to your campaign by going online and signing the petition. And
If you're an LD 22 and you are a registered Republican, you can go online and sign our petitions online.
and donate it online
And
by PayPal.
yeah,
or
I've
whatever.
already set up my account online so that they can donate the $5 to Clean Elections there also.
And you'll have a page, campaign page here shortly with your name and the office you're running for.
Right, yes.
Okay. And you've been secretary treasurer for our LD forever.
Well,
Remember, I used to be chairman.
yeah, for
and
at
you
least
were-
the last 3 years.
Yeah. And do you have any questions?
Well, now there's two liberals that are that
Yeah.
LD, correct?
Our
Yeah.
district is highly Democratic,
Yes.
but we're trying over on the western side where we live. There's more Republicans, so we just got to
Okay.
get more of the. I think a lot of the voters that vote Democratic do it because it's just what they've always done, and they haven't really looked at, compared their values to the values of other slates.
Okay.
And I think if we go and approach people about, do you support the nuclear family and things like that, and get them where it hits them at home, I think we can get them to vote more conservatively
Now-
than they have been.
Now out there, being a lot of liberals, I've heard and talked to some that now they're liberal, but now that the way things are going and the way situations is happening, a lot of them might have turned independent.
Yeah,
And they're looking at they switch from Democrat to independent because really they don't like what's happening.
right, and a lot of the independents are kind of fed up with the Republican side also, but this is where we have to meet them at their level and see what their values are and see if we can convince them that, our platform, is more in line with your values.
And plus what's happening right now, I think a lot of the economy with that's going on, our border, just like you said, our border, and yeah, so many things is just our election. Yeah,
Yeah, we're bleeding bad.
we're bleeding bad, and we're bleeding to the point where we have to make some changes. Yes, but we got to be precise about it.
Yeah, the thing is like with all these shootings that go on, and all of a sudden they want to pass these gun laws. You can't pass. Yes, people have feelings, but you can't pass laws based on feeling. You have to have logic. You have to look beyond the end of your nose and see what the ripple effect is going to be of a law if it gets passed.
Correct.
Because they didn't put it in the Constitution just to put it, the freedom to bear arms. was meant for everybody to be able to protect themselves.
It says shall not, and shall not means you cannot circumvent the Constitution.
Wackos are getting hold of rifles and guns.
Well, it's like even
but
now
that's,
with them wanting to make D.C. a 51st state. If you go read the Constitution, that's totally illegal.
Illegal.
They would have to pass an amendment to do it because it says the government gets 10 square miles.
Yeah.
Well, D.C. is 68 square miles, so that means they have to give 58 square miles back to Maryland, Virginia, or whatever, and let those states handle that portion of it, and the government keeps its 10 square miles. And
Yeah.
when you ran for MCRC secretary, you said we need to work on election integrity and try to get a more accurate database for registered voters. And campaign sidekick and GOP data are not being kept up to date.
correct.
Some of their information is 5 years outdated. And you stated, I want to be part of the team trying to solve problems instead of just being a do-nothing complainer. And so at the House of Representatives, you'll have that same task too.
Correct.
The only reason I'm reading that is because you had that on your website when you were running for secretary. Now that you're running for the House of Representatives, are you going to try to see stuff that'll help the community, stuff that, or are you going to go out to the community and find out what our community needs in like the policing in our neighborhoods? Some neighborhoods, like where I live, it's supposed to be a regulated, or you can't park in the front and you can't be working on your car. It's gotten out of hand to where people have to start speaking up and representing the people that own homes, that live in the neighborhoods. I don't know. I know in your neighborhood is a more of a fenced-in type of neighborhood where it's, because I've been to your house and it's a very nice neighborhood. And I know Cid is out there in Buckeye, but are you going to try to find out the needs of the constituents that are going to be voting for you? Are you going to go like door to door and find out by asking questions? Maybe have a questionnaire.
I don't know. I've never lived in an HOA until we moved over here to
HOA, yeah.
Phoenix. And our first HOA was a small area, and the streets were owned by the HOA, so the city could do nothing to come in. But the HOA was very on it. Every week they would drive through and they would let people know, you can't do this, you can't do that, and stuff.
That's the way it should
And
be. I mean,
our new HOA, the city owns the streets. So now, besides having our HOA come through, the city comes through and gives us code violations also. So we kind of get double whammied now. So we
I can
have
see-
to really keep
I can
things
see during
up.
the day if you have a visitor and he parks in front of your house,
Yeah.
it's the overnight people, the people that live a block down because they can't find parking. They park in front of your parking where normally a guest should park.
Yeah.
Those kind of things, or people working on the street in cars because they're used to that in other neighborhoods, rundown neighborhoods where they
Yeah.
work on cars in front of their yards and stuff.
Because it really depends on what your HOA laws
Say.
the CC&Rs.
Let me ask you this, Dan. A lot of casinos, and one thing we got liberals. They're total liberals. We know how they go, what they do, how they do it, and everything else. My question to you is, okay, as a Republican, I know that's one way you're going to be different, okay, than a liberal. But what do you think is something
Within the city limits, but they need left turn lights.
Okay.
You know, it's kind of funny because where I live is kind of between Phoenix, Avondale, Litchfield. So I've got one corner at my house that has a left turn arrow light that Avondale put in. 2 miles up the road, the light at Indian School and El Mirage is, I think, pretty much Avondale. Then you get to El Mirage and Camelback, there's no left turn light.
Okay.
But then you get up to Glendale and El Mirage, there's a left turn light, which that city is Glendale's put in. So, you know, and there's a lot of traffic on Camelback, and trying to make left turns there is ridiculous. So, you know, but there's lots of things. You need road repairs. We probably need more left turn lights, but those are within the city kind of restraints.
Well, those are kind of things where you could pass a bill, and if it gets to the floor, then they vote on it regarding infrastructure, regarding monies for the roads, like you said,
Right.
money to help different areas, because you're going to be representing all the way into Tullison and probably
Tolleson, Avondale.
and Levine, I think, comes into play. And then it goes
I
into
think they took
Avondale.
Levine out during the redistricting.
Oh, really?
But we've got West Phoenix, Avondale, Tolleson.
And, you know, there's a lot of construction going on with all these new businesses propping up. And so the streets are being restricted for almost a whole year to one lane when there used to be 2 lanes. Or if it's 1 lane, they've even cut those in half until the constructions are over. I know because I live in Tolleson, and both sides of Tolleson are just a lot of construction going on because business buildings are going up. Those are kind of things that some of the constituents might be complaining about, or that, or even having enough police response. If they call police, I've noticed the police are taking a longer time to get to your call. Whereas if it was if it's a shooter, they fly over there. But if it's just a regular complaint of people doing something they're not supposed to, they don't come out that fast. I mean,
Most of those would have to be taken care of through the cities that hire the police and stuff. And a lot of times now, because of the lack of police officers, because of the way they're being treated, they don't even go out to car accidents anymore. They just say, take your pictures, trade your information, and that's it. They don't take reports.
Yeah, that's happened quite a bit by what I've seen.
Yeah. But, I mean, every time I see a policeman, I go up and I thank them, because myself and my husband, having spent 21 years in the Air Force and me spending 20 years in the Air Force, you know, for me, Veterans Day and Memorial Days are really big days, and I'm very much the patriot. And
I hear you.
I could never figure out why I was so gung-ho when I went into the Air Force Reserves and I started doing family history, and my history goes all the way back to the Revolutionary War.
Oh, that's something.
And one of my ancestors is probably rolling over in the grave because he was on the first board at Harvard University when it was established.
It's established. Oh, boy.
So I know
He might be rolling in his grave right now because of what's going on at Harvard right now.
That's right. Yeah.
Dan, let me ask you this question. We have liberals in 22. They're there. Okay. Now, what is going on? I know you're a Republican, and I understand that, but what makes you think that you can stand out more than the liberal, and 2, as a Republican, what do you think is the most important thing in your district that needs to be really done? Or let me give it to you this way. Let me tell it to you this way. What is something that the representatives now have done that is totally, I should say, liberal or totally out of the ordinary, however you want to take it? But what is something that needs to be corrected with them, and that's something that you can do if elected?
Well, having been down at the State House for a couple of meetings this last session, the one thing I noticed is the liberals, every time we tried to vote for something for the election integrity, it was always the Republicans on one side and the Democrats, no matter how sensible the law was, they were against it. It's like there's no common sense. They're so far to the left and so far into socialism that they don't have the common sense. People can have knowledge, but if you don't have wisdom, the knowledge doesn't do any good.
Correct.
You have to have wisdom with it.
Okay.
And I was raised at a time when there was common sense.
Yeah.
And you treated others the way that you wanted to be treated. And
Correct. No, that's absolutely true.
What do you think about the school system in the Avondale area? Now that Horn is our.
I'm hoping the school system gets better, and we've got one lady in our LD who is volunteering to monitor some of the school board meetings so that we can keep out some of this diversity and transgender stuff from the schools, because 8-year-olds don't need to be learning that stuff. They need to stay kids and
Yeah.
you know, and
Oh, yeah.
if they have questions, to me, if I were a teacher at this time and a kid came up to me and had a question about some of that stuff, I think I would tell him that you need to go home and talk to your parents and ask them questions. And I think I would email the parents and say, your child is having questions about this. Yeah, I don't want to interfere with your family values. This might be something you want to discuss with them. Because parents have the right to raise their kids. That's why I retired to be a stay-at-home mom when my daughter was 18 months old, because I didn't want somebody else instilling values in her that I did not agree with.
Okay, that's great. I also liberals are very much on taxes and spending our money. Okay, spending our money. How do you feel on that? What's your take on just taxes overall?
Taxes overall, there's too much of our money going to places that it shouldn't be going to. We should not be sending money to the PBS stations because they get enough money on their own now. We shouldn't be giving money to Planned Parenthood because they get enough donations on their own that they don't need the federal money or state money or whatever it goes to. And there's, like, even with the federal taxes, why are we sending money down to South America to try to teach them transgenderism, or trying to force our values of transgenderism onto the nations of Africa that are very much, they're more religious than we are. We used to send missionaries to Africa. Now the Africans are sending missionaries to other countries.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you. I hear what you're saying. It's something that we're losing that. We're losing that here within our own country.
What do you think about the two propositions that everybody's saying vote yes on, to turn the bonds back to that were voted on?
The school bonds?
Yeah, and now they want to vote yes to overturn them, but we voted on them for a reason, and they keep doing this to us every 2 years. They want us, or even every election, they want us to vote these bonds out when they had us vote them in. And
they need to have a balanced budget, and when they put these bonds out, they say, well, the money's going to go to this, this, and this, but apparently it doesn't. Apparently it goes to the administration or it goes to contractors and not to the schools. And with interest rates getting higher, and I'm on a fixed income, so for me to have my taxes raised on my house and property for this is, besides the current inflation with the gas and the food, it makes it kind of hard.
So you would vote no on the.
I did vote no on them.
Well, me too. But everywhere you see it says vote yes, vote yes, vote yes. And I think it's the people that are pushing those bonds that put up those signs.
Yeah,
And,
because
the regular people
we
that
were
voted on it,
we were trying to discuss at our own LD meeting whether we should invest some money to put up some no signs.
I saw that. And
But,
I was just confused about that because yes.
Yeah, I think most of the time now, I think we're just doing it on our own social platforms to, push for the no votes. Because I noticed even on the next door neighborhood sites, I've seen a lot of people make comments about voting no for the bonds.
And the thing is that they fool you because everywhere you look is vote yes, and you think that maybe I'm behind the times, and it says cheaper taxes, or it says it's not going to increase your taxes, but you already voted on it. They want to take that money that's in there and use it for something else. Then they're going to ask for bonds again. So then we're
It's a
double
vicious.
whammy.
It's a vicious circle.
And they do it all the time. And these people have these big giant companies. They push this, and regular people like us,
If I ran my household budget the way that they run the school budget, I'd be living on the street because my house would be repossessed.
It's interesting.
crazy,
It's interesting, yeah. It's interesting too is that a lot of the school districts, I know some Azra's doing a lot of searching, and they're doing with a lot of these schools because they see a lot of the school bonds coming out. And what's happening, we're finding out that there's some school districts I'm talking with some of the executive board of our Azra, and what they're finding out is that they're asking for money and these bonds. They're asking for all these bonds and this money, but yet the school district, they don't have the kids. I don't think they have the kids to make for the money they want. They want to build this and build that, and it's not. It's like, wait a minute, you don't have the.
Yeah, I've seen some of the people's remarks saying, "Yeah, we've got a school that's been closed down because there wasn't enough students for the school."
Yeah.
Or we've got unused classrooms that are being used for storage, and yet they want money to build more stuff.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
So you're yes to spend the bonds.
To spend on? No. Not to,
Okay, you're a no.
No. I'm saying what the point blank is, you want more schools, you want more money. Why is it you want more money? If classrooms are not being used, if things are not point blank, it's like we say with our tax money when we get to the federal government or anywhere else, to any government of the state or federal, what are you going to use our money for? What exactly are you using it for? I see nothing that we get in return. Are our kids getting more educated? Are they getting a lot more? Are they passing the proficiency test? Are they
No,
passing?
they're not.
Are they coming out more? I guess you could say smarter, or not really smarter, but are they coming out more educated? And are we getting that in return?
Yeah.
And some of the statistics you see that it's not happening.
Yeah.
In some of the school districts.
The kids don't know our history. They don't know. They can't do math. They're not reading at grade level.
And that's one thing.
And that's what school was meant to be. It was meant to teach those skills. It's not meant to teach diversity and stuff.
Yeah, and I this morning I've heard Tom Horn, Superintendent Tom Horn. He was saying about that. He was saying that some of these school districts that want to teach that, and then he was mostly referring to the bilingual side of it, that being taught. But it also says there's that money and there's other money that shouldn't be spent in a way of teaching that is not making no sense to be taught. The way he was talking made a lot of sense, common sense, I could say.
Yeah.
But what are we getting in return? That's the thing. If you are asking for more money, school districts are asking for more money, what are we getting in return? And if you really...
Whatever it is, it's not helping the kids.
No, and it's not, especially if we have our history especially our history of who we are as America, not being taught or not being said, well, they're very easy to say to hate America.
Yeah.
It's very easy to do that if we're not getting taught our history or what we are as America or as Americans. Okay, I remember talking to some people, even when they came into America. There's some people I heard talking on talk shows and that they said when they used to come in, they used to get what they call assimilated into the country. They used to be taught about history. They used to talk about America. They said what it is to be an American, how it is to be an American. But nowadays, it's nowhere to be found.
Yeah.
Within our schools.
And
that's
when you come to America and you take American citizenship, you become an American. I have 2 adopted daughters. One of them is black, the other's Hispanic. And my oldest daughter, she does not want to be called African American. She does not want to be called Black American. She's American. And I tried to raise her to be a good citizen. No matter what color skin she has, she can do whatever she wants. She can reach for the stars. If you hit the moon, at least you've made an accomplishment.
Yeah.
So
that's something.
And so I'm very proud of both of my daughters. And
yeah, it's something, and that's great. That's great that they think that way, and she said it that way. That's awesome. That's awesome. It just sometimes you see that, America we're looking at America as not being America.
yeah. Well, I mean, my family history, my grandmother was from Germany. Fine, I'm part German. Do I go around calling myself German American? No. I'm American.
And that's what everybody should do is when you're here, you're an American. I'm Puerto Rican, but I don't go around calling myself Puerto Rican American. Now, when I'm with my family, we celebrate heritage. But outside of the family, everybody knows me as just Don Jorge, and I'm Hispanic, and I'll always be Hispanic. And that's why we have the show, The Chips and the Salsa, because we're Hispanics that want to reach out as want to break that myth.
Yeah.
And,
Now, when I grew up, it was e pluribus unum. Out of many, one. People would immigrate into the United States. We would welcome them. They would assimilate. We could give and take traditions from each other's heritages. Like the Christmas tree wasn't American, it was German. Queen Victoria's husband took it from Germany to England, and then it came this way. But there's lots of traditions, but now people are trying to isolate us and put us back into tribes because they want to say that's microaggression. So I can't have tacos and enchiladas because I'm not Mexican. I can't have spaghetti because I'm not Italian. I can't have chow mein because I'm not Japanese. It's getting ridiculous.
Now, have you studied the House of Representatives and see the bills that they've been passing or not?
I've only been down there a couple of times when Wendy Rogers was running the elections hearings.
So you kind of have the experience a little bit of what the House of Representatives does inside the chambers, because that's going to come out a lot. If you get elected, you're gonna be part of that group of chosen Republicans representing your districts.
It's like they really don't have a job description for us to go by. It looks like it's almost a learn on the job type of a situation.
Yeah, and
but
Steve is running for the Senate, right?
Right.
That's Steve Harrison. Right?
Steve Robinson.
Steve Robinson. Sorry, Steve. Butchered your name again. And he's our chairman of our LD, and I butchered his name. I always butcher his name. I don't know why I keep saying Harrison, but it's Robertson. So Steve Robertson is running for Senate, And the other gentleman,
B.J. Griffin.
B.J. Griffin, is running for the House with you.
Yes.
For the 2 positions held open for the House of Representatives.
Correct.
They're currently being held by liberals. Liberals that don't represent their neighborhood hardly ever go to meet their constituents. Will you go out and meet your constituents at certain times? Will you, have maybe a library or a breakfast or something where you sit down and talk to the constituents, like coffees? They have like coffees and stuff.
I would love to.
Yeah.
It's,
Because people like
because
to hear
we
from
have to have meet and greets. Because if you
Right.
don't have meet and greets, you don't know what people's complaints are.
Exactly. And they may be interested in a certain bill this before the House, and they may want you to represent them on that bill, and they may have their opinions for or against the bill. Will you try to convince PJ also to have the coffees and the meetings?
I
Because
think we're
that we
going to
need-
try
we
to.
need.
I think we're going to try to keep our campaigns combined, and
'Cause
so
we
we,
need-
yeah.
We need that our representatives to come out and meet the people, and then
I've
we'll
never-
hold on.
I
We'll
don't
hold
even-
on to that office a lot longer if we do that.
I wouldn't even be able to point my representative out on the street because I've never seen him.
They're never around. They only come out when there's a gala or something where they've been specially invited to attend because of the representatives for the LD.
I mean, I've
22.
never even seen them have meet and greets in our area during the campaign season. All I see their signs, but I've never seen them.
Will you invite Democrats as well and independents to that particular coffee, or will you keep it just to the?
No,
Republican
I'm not going to
Party?
restrict it to Republican. If I'm representing the whole LD, then every person in that LD should be able to have a voice.
Exactly, and that's what I feel, because even here we'll invite a liberal to come and speak. They can't take over the station. They can't just talk their piece. They're going to have to go back and forth, but I'll be very polite with them. But when you're a representative or a Senate candidate and you've been elected, you owe it to the people to represent all the people. And
Right.
that's what I like, that you're going to
Yeah.
do. And so voters out there, remember Diana Jones. She's running for the House, LD 22. You can donate to her campaign. Right now, she doesn't have a campaign website up, but she will. And but she will. You'll get back to me on your website so I can let our tipsters know. They
Right.
could donate. You could donate money to the campaign so she could buy more signs and put up more signs. Her signs are going to be all over the place pretty soon. Diana Jones and also PJ Griffin,
B.J. Griffin,
both for the House, and then
Steve Robinson.
Robertson for the Senate. And maybe all 3 will be on the same posters that you see out in the street. Vote for them. We need a change, people. We need a change from the status quo. We need a change from what we're getting right now, which we're not getting nothing from the liberals and the Democrats. They think they got this sewed up. And because everybody votes Democrat in that particular geographic area, things have to change. I vote my conscience. If I don't like Diana running for the House of Representatives, I'll vote for somebody else. If I don't like Steve, I'll vote for somebody else. But I trust these people. I trust that they're going to represent us properly. And I know Cid probably thinks the same way. And he's from Buckeye, and I don't know how are the standings in Buckeye.
There's some stuff up there. Yeah. One thing. When we have the next show, you have the next show, and you got
Right.
Michael Carbone here.
Michael Carbone, yeah, he'll be here.
That's one thing he does, and still right now he's going around having little town halls, even at people's houses that welcome them in. He's going down there, and he's bringing everybody in. He's bringing everybody to come in and talk, and just like you said, to bring them all in and have a discussion.
So
That's it.
on Diana, to donate and to be part of that, just go to Diana Jones. You'll see it when she sets it up. Is it just going to be on Facebook? Is it going to be on social media?
I'm not sure yet how
Okay.
we're going to work it.
So-
but right now, if you go to the Secretary of State's website and go to Who's on My Ballot
Right.
and type in your address, it'll bring up who's running in your district.
And she's on the fives, or she's on what do they call that? Where you donate $5.
Yeah, that's Clean Elections.
So clean
Elections.
elections. She's on clean elections. She will be on clean elections. So will
BJ.
BJ Griffin, and so will Steve. I believe
we
we're
haven't-
checking on Steve.
yeah,
But these two running for the House on LD 22 will be on clean elections. If you're in the area, if you live in LD 22, you could donate $5 and fill out an application online. But you can also donate to the campaign once she puts up a web page, and I'm pretty sure PJ will have a web page, or they'll have both have the same web page. We'll find out. Stay tuned for that because that's coming. We have an election coming up next week, the 7th. We're still going to have our show on the 7th. We'll have Michael Carbone. He's going to be Representative Michael Carbone. He's going to be here in studio talking about his candidacy. He's running again. I believe it's LD 25.
25.
Yeah, LD 25. And he's already in the House of Representatives. He's running again to represent that LD. Also, tonight is the Diamondbacks are playing. So root for the Diamondbacks. We need a win. If you have a towel, bring out your towel. Like, hey, I got this one at the stadium, so
Great.
D-backs, go D-backs,
Go
D-backs.
D-backs.
Woo-hoo. So
Go D-backs.
let's all root our D-backs because they need to win tonight. It's been 22 years since we took the World Series, and I have a feeling we can do it again. They played
can.
really good in out there. 9-1 was their last score out there in Texas. So if it goes back to if they win tonight and win tomorrow, they'll still go to Texas, but they only have to win one game in Texas. So let's root them on.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Today is Halloween, for all you ghoulies out there.
All Hallows Eve.
And
Reformation Day.
watch your kids when they're going on Halloween. Check their candy. I mean, just visually check it. You could tell if something's been tampered with. If you have any doubt, don't let them eat them. It's just candy. And if you go with them, just be careful crossing those streets and stuff. It's a tradition out here everywhere. It's Halloween. If you have kids around water, watch them. If you have kids in your car, don't leave them alone. Don't leave them unattended. Don't leave your pets unattended. That said, we have a war in the Middle East, people, and I wanted to bring that up. We gotta say prayers to those people out there, the good people out there that are dying for no fault. Well, they live out there, so they it's not their fault, but they're caught up in there. Hamas has got to be destroyed, and Israel is right. They attacked Israel. Israel didn't attack them. And so what they want to do, they declared war on Hamas, and they want to eradicate them. A lot of people are protesting all over the United States, all over the world, in favor of the Hamas, in favor of the dictators. A lot of these people, and if you study the history, goes back years and years and years. They don't. They raise their kids. This has been over 20 years. So 20-year-old kids have been raised hating Israel, hating the Jews. So that's the mentality that's out there in the Middle East. We have our soldiers out there. We have to pray for our soldiers, pray that they don't get in harm's way, pray that we defend our soldiers, the ships that we have there have enough firepower to defend them, and don't mess with the USA. We're there to make sure no other countries get involved, and other countries have a potential of getting involved. So my son's out here in South Carolina. Everybody knows he's a drill sergeant, and he does satellites and stuff too. So who knows how this is going to go? I said it from the beginning when they attacked on the 7th that this was big, and it's gotten way bigger than big. So keep them in your prayers on your Sundays when you go to church. Keep our soldiers in your prayers. Keep the good people that are innocent, the kids, and people that are just in hell's way, because that's what it is. It's hell over there. So just keep them in your mind. Like I said, next week we're going to have Michael Carbone as our guest. Also, I wanted to make mention our PC county meeting is going to be at the beginning of January. You want to say a couple of words?
Yeah, the county meeting is January 13th, and this year, since we voted for officers last year, this year we're voting for members at large. I know that there's going to be a couple of slates running, as there might be individuals popping up also. Just do your due diligence, do your research, and let's hope we get the best people on the board.
Again, Diana Jones is running for the House, LD22. Donate to her campaign. You may not find her webpage right away, but keep trying if you really want to donate to her campaign. And PJ Griffin is also running. So donate to both of their campaigns. They're good people. We need more Republicans. We need more conservatives in the House. We don't want to lose the House, and we have to stop all the infighting that we're doing. You want to say a few last words before we sign off? Say vote for me.
Vote for me, yes.
Well, yeah. Well, one of the reasons I'm running is because we really haven't had a Republican on our ballot in about the last 5 or 6 elections. So that's why the Democrats are always winning, because there's nobody to run against them. So
And
I need to throw a wrench into the works.
yeah, I almost did that a few years ago, and I decided not to, but I may do it in the future. So anyway, thank you for coming, and you're invited to come back again in the future when you get your webpage up, and let people know about your webpage, or we could even have you on Zoom, because we've perfected our Zooms to really do good. And Cid, thank you for
No problem.
being my guest.
No problem. Whenever I can.
My guest host, Cid De La Puente, he's always here, and he may be here next week. Hopefully, he'll be here next week. Because he knows Michael Cordone, and maybe we'll be celebrating the World Championship next Tuesday. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So thank you, and we're gonna sign off now. Be sure to tune in next Tuesday, November the 7th, on your Chips and Salsa show. And thank you for being a chipster. Watch us on Rumble and YouTube, because this will be on Rumble and YouTube. And tell your friends. Tell your friends about Rumble. Tell them about YouTube. We don't get censored on Rumble, and once in a while we get censored on YouTube. And we're on Facebook. So we're all over the page. And our webpage is www.thechipsandsalsashow.com. Go to our webpage, and you'll see all the information that I'm giving you right now. Thank you for tuning in, and God bless you, and go Diamondbacks!
Yes. Yes.